Sir, please start the class.
Yes. Now, what we have done in the last class up to the sales accounting. So just go through some of the multiple choice question of the sales accounting chapter. So then we will start next topic, assets account. Clear? Now just I am going to read one by one multiple choice question. Now some of the question regarding the matching question. So match the following. Match the following revenue sources with their examples. Sales, rendering service, and use of essential enterprise resources given. And the option is income from locker facility, lease income from construction equipment, and merchandise sales of rupees 45,670. So sale of good. So this is directly match number third. So answer is A third. Renting service, like the income from locker facility is a service. And the use of enterprise resources, that means lease income from construction equipments. So answer is 1 C, second A, and third is B. Okay. Now next, match the following accounting term with their definition. Okay. Some of the accounting term is given and some of the definition is given. So now we have to match. Number first, realization concept. Number second, accrual concept. Number third, cash discount. And number fourth is trade discount. And the fourth option is given discount for prompt payments. So this is the match with 4, match with 3, cash discount. Cash discount means discount from prompt payment. And number second, recognition of revenue when due. Okay. So this is called the accrual concept. So whenever income due, then we have to record. So this is called revenue accrual concept. Revenue earned on sale regardless the receipts. So this is called the realization concept. Revenue earned on sale regardless the receipts. And trade discount means reduction in the price to prompt sales. So correct answer is A ka beta second A C. B accrual concept second recognition revenue when sales. Cash discount A 3 ka A and trade discount is 4. Next option. Match the type of discount with their purposes. But match the type of document with their purposes. The 3 document is given. Number first is the invoice. Number second is the cash memo. Or number third is the sales book. Okay. Fourth 3 option is given recorded credit sales only, issue for cash sale transaction and evidence for credit sales. Okay. So whenever we sale on the basis of credit, then definitely we have to issue invoice. So correct answer of first invoice, evidence on credit sales. Evidence in invoice is a supporting of credit sales. And the cash memo is supporting of say cash sales. So cash sales issue for cash sale transaction with a AC and B2. and sales book recorded the credit sales only, so 3A. Next. Match the following financial item with their explanation. So what a 4 financial item is given: positive cash, negative cash, net sales and gross sales. Okay. We have all the concept discussed in the class. The positive sales means if the inflow exceeds the outflow, so positive. Just reverse is the negative, and gross sales and the net sales. Okay. So beta gross sales का means and net sales का means. ठीक है ना, total sales minus sales return is called net sales. And the gross sales means the total sale including all form of revenue is called the gross sales. Check करते हैं options. Positive cash flow. So positive cash flow means cash inflow exceed the outflow. So correct answer is B. So 1B. Negative cash flow means cash outflow exceed the inflow, just opposite, the reverse. So this is called the negative cash flow. So 2D, net sales. Sales after deduction of return and allowances. This is called the net sales. So 3A, and the gross sales means total sales including all form of revenue, whether cash sales, whether credit sales. So this is called the gross sales. Next. Buy is cash memo is not required to include the customer name. But once customer have already made the payment, made the payment, so there is no requirement to mention the name of the customer. This is not mandatory, not required. You can, but this is not compulsory. It always prepare and duplicate? No. Transaction is complete with the immediate payment because you have received the payment. So no need to mention the name of the customer. So I think the correct answer should be B. It is a confidential document, no, and customer name are irrelevant in the business. The transaction is complete with the immediate payment. So correct answer is B. Next. Buy or trade discount not recorded in the books of account. So they are the informal agreement. They do not impact the net price recorded. They are discounted at the end of the year, and they are shown separately in the financial statement. No, so correct answer B. They should not impact the price of the net price. Next. Buy is online fraud fund transfer preferred over check in the modern business. We have already discussed. Nowadays, this is not a time of the check. Number first is reduces operational cost. It's eliminate all type of fraud. It minimize processing delay and risk. So this is the correct answer. Or increase the manual record keeping? No. So correct answer is it minimize the process delay as well as the risk. Next. Why should bad debts to be written off only after through the review? For claiming the bad debts, we have to follow all type of rules and regulations. Okay. Then we can claim such amount as a bad debts. The question is, why should bad debts be written off only after through review? To avoid the financial fraud? Not. To maintain the accurate financial health? Yes, it should be. It to minimize the taxable income? No. To boost the company reputation? No. So correct answer is B. Some of the question regarding assertion and reason. We have to first check. First, we have to read first assertion, then reason. Now the option of that type of question is whether both are correct, whether both are false, whether first correct, B is not correct, whether both are correct, but the reasoning is not accurate or reasoning is accurate. So 3 or 4 type of combination may be there. Now check. Revenue can be accounted for even if payment is not received immediately. Okay. So beta, this is the correct. Revenue can be accounted for even if the payment is not received immediately. Whether we always be record and we most of the time company record that financial data on the basis of accrual system of accounting. So once the revenue and we received or accounted, so we have to record whether payment received or not received. So correct answer A is the correct. Now check. Revenue recognition follow the accrual concept. This is also correct. Both are correct. And I think the explanation is also correct. The revenue recognition means follow the revenue concepts. Now check the option. Number first. Both A and R are true. The R is the correct explanation of A. R is the correct explanation of A. So A's revenue is accounted for even if the payment is not received. Yes. Why is? Because accounting based on the accrual concept basis. Second option, A and R both are true, but R is not correct explanation of A. So no, this is not. A is true, B, R and false, wrong. A is false, R, but R is true, wrong. So correct answer is A. Both A and R are true, and the R is the correct explanation of A. Now check next question. Some of the assertion and reason is given. Sales allowances reduce the net sales. Definitely yes. Reason. Sales allowance are not accounted in the gross sales. This is correct. Because sales allowance in a way is not accounted in for the gross sales because the sales allowance is recorded at the time of net sales. So A and B both are correct. And the explanation of A is also correct. Now check. Both A and R are true. And the R is the correct explanation of A. So this is the correct answer. So answer is A. Now next question. Same method question. Assertion and reason is given. Cash management help reduce business insolvency risk. Yes, correct. Well, whenever you manage your cash properly, so definitely there is a less chance to fail to payment. Second, but the proper cash management ensure adequate liquidity. Both are correct. Or explanation is also correct. If your cash is managed, so definitely this is the adequate liquidities. So answer is A. Both A and R correct. R is the correct explanation of A. Assertion reason credit sales are recorded in a sales book. Yes, correct. And the credit sold then do not involve immediate receipt of payment. Wrong. ठीक है ऐसा नहीं हो सकता credit sales do not involve. Yes. So both the option is correct or explanation is also correct. So answer is A. Next. Which of the following is not a features of cash memo? Okay. Number first, serve as evidence for cash payment. Correct. This is the feature. Prepare and replicate. Yes, this is the feature. And contain credit term. No, because in the cash memo, whenever we prepare the cash memo, whenever you make the sale in form of cash, so there is a no term and condition regarding the credit. So now the correct answer is C, which is not the features. In the sales ledger, which accounts is credited for a cash sales? ठीक है? Cash account debit to sales. So what will be the credited? Sales account. Cash account not. Sales account yes. Customer account not. Inventory account not. Next. which is the primary reason for using audit trails in billing software. Okay. To prevent the customer fraud, to ensure transaction tracking and accuracy, to facilitate faster payment, and to prompt staff efficiency. So correct answer is B. Next. Which statement best define sales allowance? ठीक है जी. Goods return. Which statement best defines sales allowance? Goods return due to defect. This is called the sales return. Discount allowed for bulk purchase. This is also not. Reduction in price due to undesirability. We have already solved the questions from a study material. The total goods sales for rupees 8,000. But such goods is received by the businessman which is not desirable. But the seller says you just kept the good in your premises and try to sell the goods. I charge only rupees 2,500 out of rupees 8,000. So remaining 5,500 is allowance. We have discussed same example in the class. So answer reduction in price due to undesirability. Now, which of the formula for calculate the cash break-even point? We have already done same concept with the practical question also. So formula is fixed cost minus non-cash expenses divided by contribution per unit. We have also discussed one of the question non-cash expenses in the particular question was given depreciation and preliminary expenditure. And both are the non-cash expenditure. So fixed cost minus non-cash expenses and divided by contribution per unit. And the contribution per unit means S minus V, sales minus variable cost. Which type of transaction recorded in the general? ठीक है जी. Which type of transaction? So sale of goods for cash we will record in the cash book as well as the sales book. Credit sales in the sales book. Sale of old equipment, yes, it will be recorded in the general book. Okay. Which of the what is the service fee if the sales of rupees 76,564 is made with the bank charges of 1.06%? Okay, so now just calculate the 1.06% of 76,564. 76,564 into 1.06%. So the correct answer is 811.47. This is the correct answer. Okay. We have discussed the same concept in the last class regarding the bank payment through check. And which of the following is true about the trade discount? They are shown in the financial statement. They are calculated post sale and they are allowed to prompt realize resale profit. So I think correct answer is C. So these some of the question regarding the sales accounting. Now I am starting the new topic regarding the assets accounting. I think in the assets accounting we have already covered all the concepts in the first part of the financial accounting book. So there is some details concept regarding the assets. Okay. Now what is assets? How many type of assets? The example of type of asset, fixed assets and current assets. Under the fixed asset, two type of asset, tangible asset and intangible asset. I think we have already covered all the concepts in the accounting first. And how to calculate the depreciation. What are the method to charging the depreciation? So total 10 method is given in the study material, but the only two method is relevant. Most appropriate method is straight line method and WDB method. And remaining method is also relevant for the particular type of industry. So now The detailed concept regarding asset accounting is given in the second part of accounting. Otherwise, concept is same. How to record the cash assets in the books of account. ठीक है, बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट, पार्टी अकाउंट डेबिट, परचेज assets account debit to bank, to party or to cash. This is the general entry. So now we will prepare the ledgers, assets ledger. We have to prepare all type of different type of ledger. And the assets broadly classified into two categories. Number first is the short term, or number second is the long term. The duration of the asset is more than 1 year, so this is called the long term assets, and the short term less than 1 year is called the short term. Now the long term asset is further divided into two categories: tangible or intangible asset, which can be touched, which can be seen, which can be measured, is called the tangible. Plant, machinery, furniture, building, as well as having the life is more than 1 year. So plant, machinery, building, furniture, all are the tangible. Or intangible means goodwill, patent right, copyright, know-how, franchisee, all are the intangible assets. Okay. What is the purpose behind to calculate the depreciation? So there is a depreciation concept is also given. Okay. So now we read the same concept in detail. First, the meaning of assets, type of assets, and the two type of fixed assets. Now we will discuss one by one. This is the definition of assets. Assets accounting is a process of accounting of acquisition, use and disposal of assets over their entire life. Okay. It aims at the recording and reporting of financial information related to the business financial statement. Whenever we purchase the assets, for the business purpose, so we have to record such asset in the financial statement or at the time of preparation of financial statements. Okay. So assets balance is debit. So definitely we will record the assets in the asset side of the balance sheet. Okay. Because expenses we record in trading account or profit and loss account, but assets we record in the balance sheets. If anything you have which have a life, either less than 1 year or more than 1 year. Okay. So this is called the assets. Both the assets, whether current assets and fixed assets, we record in the asset side in the balance sheet. The balance sheet report all the assets of the business. Accountant must properly report their information because assets represent a portion of the total wealth or the economic improvement made by the business. Now this is the accounting equation. We have already done accounting equation in paper first, and we have already solved, I think, around 9 to 10 class regarding the accounting equations. So assets equal to capital plus owners equity. Now the two type of assets. The balance sheet assets are grouped under the two type. Number first is the fixed assets, or number second is the current assets. Current assets are those that form part of the circulating capital of the business. They are replaced frequency or converted into cash during the course of the trading. Well, if any of the asset are replaced frequently, or this is easy to convert into the cash, so such asset is a current assets. The most common current assets are stock, account receivable. Account receivable means debtor or bills receivable, and cash, as well as its equivalent. And these assets are cash and other assets expected to be converted to cash or consumed either in a year or in the operating cycle, whichever is less. If your operating cycle duration is only 6 months, so 1 year or 6 months, whichever is less, and without disturbing the normal operation of the business. Okay. So following are the major assets considered as current assets. Cash and cash equivalent. We have already discussed the cash equivalent in the last class. And a cash equivalent means which is easily converted into money. Short-term investment include the security bought and held for a period near future to generate the income from short-term. Account receivable, inventory, and the prepaid expenses which paid in advance. So this is called prepaid expenses. Clear? So these are some examples of current assets. Cash and cash equivalent, short-term investment, account receivable, inventory, and last one is the prepaid expenses. Clear? Now, beta, the fixed assets. Fixed assets are a set of a business intended to continuous use rather than the short-term or temporary assets. The fixed assets must be classified into a company business balance sheet as a tangible, intangible, or investment. So tangible assets are the assets having a physical existence, such as the land, building, plant machinery, fixtures and furniture, motor vehicle, and IT equipments. And the examples of the intangible assets include the goodwill, patent right, trademarks, know-how, franchisee, copyright, all are the intangible assets. Okay, beta. So two type of assets. Now the current assets accounting. Okay, how to record the current assets. Number first, the features of current assets. I think you all know. If you have the basic knowledge of accounting, so definitely you know everything you know. But some of the different type of questions, and a multiple choice question may definitely and the differ in the basic concept of accounting. Like the short term is the 1 year and the operating cycle, whichever is less. So this is a new type of question. Current assets. It is rightly observed that current assets have a short life of a span. These assets, these as a type of assets are engaged in the current operation of a business, normally used for the short-term operation of the firm during the accounting period. Okay, that is within 12 months. And two important characteristics of such assets are short life span and shift transformation into other form of assets. Matlab, you have a debtor, but suppose debtor pay the money immediately. So debtor converted into cash. If you have a short-term investment, but you sell the investment and convert it into money, so this is the features of the current assets. Number first, short life span. Number second, shift transformation into other form of asset. Cash balance may be held idle for a week or a two. Account receivable may have a life of 30 to 60 days. So cash balance may be held idle for a week or a 2 weeks. Or account receivable may have a span of 30 days to 60 days. Inventory may be held 30 days to 100 days. So current assets are the first item reported in the balance sheet under the assets accounting. And these items include the cash and cash equivalent, inventory, account receivable, and the short-term marketable security. Current assets are the cash and other assets that will be converted to cash or used up during a relatively short period of time, usually a 1 year or less. Again and again, Hanabi repeat and repeat and repeats. Current asset accounting value, these items and the current market value. Since this information is readily available and the item can be quick bought and sold in the open market. Suppose you have a marketable security and the marketable security is open in the market. The security rate is based upon the market and you can easily sell such marketable security in the open market. The current asset may also represent the item used by the company to generate sales from normal business operation. Again, same concept. Now, beta, they here explain one by one the component of the current assets. Number first is cash. You all know what is cash. This is the most liquid of all the assets because it is already in liquid form. Suppose the question is, the most liquid form of assets is, number first is cash, number second is debtor or the account receivable or the bills receivable. Number third is inventory, or number fourth is prepaid expenses. So what is the correct answer? Correct answer is A, cash. This is the most liquid of all the assets because it is already in liquid form. If a company has a large pile of cash, then it has a night safely cuisines of hard time. The cash amount on the balance sheet is account of cash owned by the entity on the balance sheet side implied. Cash management necessary ensure that at any point of time, a company has to neither too little or too more cash on hand. That's why one of the ratio, current ratio, ठीक है भाई, is given in the chapter of ratio. The ratio is current assets. Current ratio means current assets upon current liability. Mala, the standard ratio of current ratio is 2:1. This means your current assets only Hanabi should be double your current liability. If you have the current assets over and above the 2 times, that means you are not a good cash manager. Once you have the current assets over and above the 2 times, so immediately you have to repay the loan or you have to invest the money. Okay, so this is the concept of cash management. Okay, to help manage of its cash, the company should regularly reconcile its cash balance, cash statement, or the bank reconciliation statement we have already done, including preparing the reconciliation report and making adjustment. Okay, for what type of adjustment? If there any discrepancy between the company record as well as the bank record. We have already Hanabi done the bank reconciliation statement. Cash and bank balance is shown in the asset side of the balance sheet under the current asset heading. Okay. Now beta, the balance sheet format for the sole proprietor, for the partnership firm, and for the company. Whenever company prepare the financial statement, so company have to follow the exact rules and regulation, exact method to prepare the financial statement. That means balance sheet and profit and loss account and cash flow statement. In case of sole proprietorship concern, you can prepare the balance sheet and profit and loss account in the tabulation form. You will prepare the trading account and profit and loss account, then balance sheet. But for the company's point of view, whenever company prepare the balance sheet and profit and loss account, then company have to follow the specific rules and regulations. Clear? So in that case, company prepared the vertical type of balance sheet. So there is different type of format, different type of method to prepare the balance sheet. In case of sole proprietorship concern, you can also especially divide the total asset in two parts, fixed assets and the current assets. Clear? But there is not compulsion to prepare the balance sheet of sole proprietorship. You have to divide current assets and fixed assets. There is no compulsion. But whenever you prepare the balance sheet of the company, so definitely you have to follow the rules. Same यहाँ बोल रहा है बेटा. At the time of closing of books of account, there should letter of confirmation required and the bank letter head to the bank balance shown in the balance sheet. and one letter for the confirmation from the management of the company is required to cash balance shown in the balance sheet at the end of the accounting period. It is a requirement as per the Companies Act, as per the Companies Caro 2003. Well, you have to collect the bank confirmation letter, bank balance letter, what is the balance be in your bank at the time of preparation of balance sheet. Now you will record the balance of cash, balance of bank, not cash, be as per the letter received from your banker side. Next concept is the account receivable, or the account receivable means debtor. When the goods and services are sold under an agreement permitting the customer to paid them at the later date, the amount due from the customer is recorded as account receivable. Or we can say, when the goods sold on the basis of credit or provide the service on the basis of credit, then definitely debtor will arise. So debtor, account receivable or bills receivable, all are same. Okay. So receivable are assets accounts represent the amount owed by the firm as a result of the credit sale of goods and services in the ordinary course of business. Clear? The value of these claims to be carried on the asset side of the balance sheet under the title such as account receivable, trade receivable, and customer receivable. Okay. This is called the account receivable. ठीक है, बेटे just थोड़ा सा data flow करना. Generally, when a concern does not receive cash payment in respect of ordinary sale of its product or services immediately after, in order to allow them a reasonable period of time to pay for the goods, they have to be receipts. The firm is said to have the granted trade credit. Okay. So whenever you make the sale on the basis of credit, so definitely you will allow some period to make the payment of cash. So this is called the trade credit. Trade credit thus gives rise to certain receivable or book debt expected to be collected by the firm in the near future. So this is called the trade credit. In other words, just go through the account receivable are reported in the balance sheet at their net realizable value. Account receivable are recorded on the balance sheet at their net realizable value. It may be you have completed the chapter financial statement or the balance sheet and profit and loss account. Suppose in the trial balance, debtor is given, account receivable is given, or bills receivable is given, all are same. And some of the adjustment is given outside the trial balance. Number first adjustment is the bad debts. Number second adjustment is provision for doubtful debt. So we have to record the account receivable in the balance sheet after adjustment of bad debts provision, bad debts adjustment, or after considering the provision for doubtful debts. Suppose beta in the balance sheet, total debtor 50,000 rupees is given. Or in the trial balance, sorry, in the adjustment, one of the adjustment is given bad debts rupees 2,000 and the provision for doubtful debt rupees 1,000. Then what amount you record in the balance sheet? Then you have to show in the balance sheet 50,000 minus bad debts or minus 1,000. 50,000 minus 2,000 bad debts or minus 1,000 provision for doubtful debt. So remaining is the 47,000. So now you will record in the balance sheet 47,000. This is called the net realizable value. This amount is the amount of cash expected to be collected from the account receivable. The net realizable value means the amount which is expected to be collected. Total amount of debtor rupees 50,000. So out of 50,000, we have claimed 2,000 as a bad debts. So but there is no chance of realizable or the recovery of 2,000 rupees from the debtor. So how much net realizable value? 48,000. Now out of 48,000, there is a chance we have already created the provision for doubtful debt rupees 1,000. Again, there is a chance to not recovery of amount from the debtor. Now the remaining means 40,000 is a chance to recover the amount from the debtor. So this is called the net realizable value. Usually the balance shown in the debtor ledger are supported by the sales document. When the sales are made on account, a very high probability exists that some account receivable will not be collected. Well, whenever you sell the goods on the credit basis, so there is a chances for the bad debts. There is a chances to not recovery of amount. The amount of account receivable are not expected to be collected is recorded and reported in the account of allowances for bad debts. Okay, which is the contra assets account on the balance sheet. We have already covered the bad debts concept. So this is a system to recover the amounts. Just go through. Number third case is the inventory. You all are the inventory. Okay, we have discussed the inventory concept in the store accounting also, that in detail. Inventory are the major part of the current assets. Inventory, bills receivable, account receivable, cash balance, bank balance, prepaid expenses, all are the current assets. It includes the raw material, work in progress, and finished goods, and store and spare item. But first you purchase the raw material. So we will pass the entry purchase account debit, ठीक है ना, to cash or bank. If the same entry we will record in the store in the cost accounting. So we will prepare the entry raw material control account debit to cash, to bank or to party. Now we will convert raw material into WIP, work in progress. Then we will pass the entry work in progress account debit to raw material control. Now WIP converted into finished goods. Now we will pass the entry finished goods control account debit to WIP. Well, first we purchase the goods. This is called the raw material. So now material converted into WIP and WIP converted into finished goods. Now we will sell the finished goods. So this is the inventory cycle. Inventory, it includes the raw material, WIP and finished goods and store and spares items. Store and spares. Ideally, in an organization, the inventory maintenance is for 30 days to 100 days, depending upon the requirement we have already discussed. And what is the duration of inventory? 30 days to 100 days. Inventory are those items which are required to make production smoothly, and it will be converted in cash by sale of finished goods. Clear? First we purchase the raw material converted into WIP, WIP converted into finished goods, or now we will sell the finished goods. For smoothly functioning of organization, inventory management is important. What is the inventory management? But we have already discussed in the chapter of store control, store accounting, or inventory control system. Number first step, purchasing. receiving, quality control, inspection, storage, issuing and stock audit. ठीक है ना? With the proper inventory management of an organization can earn more profit than its competitor. Excess inventory may cause a serious loss of the company. For that purpose, we have already discussed the levels of the accounting: minimum level, maximum level, reorder level, and average stock level and the danger level. If you purchase the material quantity over and above the certain limit, suppose you have designed, you have fixed the B definitely, we can kept the maximum level, just example 1000 kg of material. This is your maximum level. But suppose in any of the day, in any of the period, you have total 1200 quantity of material over and above the maximum stock level. So you unnecessarily block your money to purchase the raw material, or there is a more chances to wastage of material. You have taken care more, Hanabi, if you have the more material. So that the excess inventory may cause serious losses to the company. So in an organization, inventory level will be observed by kept group of person. When an item purchase, it is shown in the asset side of the balance sheet under the current assets heading under the inventory. When the item inventory is sold, then transfer to the profit and loss account. If you have the closing balance of inventory, so definitely we will show in the balance sheet. Or if we have sold the inventory, so we have show in the profit and loss account, credit side. Or whenever you consume, okay, so opening plus purchase minus closing, so we can also use raw material consumed word. ठीक है बेटा, वो इसको कहाँ ट्रांसफर करेंगे? इन द इनकम स्टेटमेंट. इनकम स्टेटमेंट मींस प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट. Now this is the operating cycle of inventory. ठीक है, we have discussed one of the chapter is the working capital cycle. So working capital cycle or the inventory cycle more or less same. Okay. First, we will purchase the raw material from the party, from the customer. So creditor will generate. Now the raw material converted into WIP, WIP converted into finished goods. Now finished goods sold by the company. Whenever you sold the finished goods, so debtor will arise. Then debtor, after receive the payment from the debtor, now we are able to repay the money to the creditor. So this is called the operating cycle of inventory. Okay, purchase of raw material converted into WIP, WIP converted into finished goods converted into sale. Or now whenever you sell, so debtor generate, or once you receive the amount from the debtor, then you definitely make the payment to the creditor. So this is called the operating cycle of inventory. But type of accounting entry, okay, we will pass. Whenever we purchase the material, which material? Raw material, which is used for production of goods. If you are a trader, your business is just only purchase the material, purchase the and sell the goods. Then the entry is purchase account debit to party, purchase account debit to cash, or purchase account debit to bank. But whenever you purchase the raw material for production of finished goods, after the preparation of the complete goods using the material, labor, and expenses, so now this will become the goods. So first entry, raw material control account debit, or the raw material inventory account debit as per the study material control, but is also possible. raw material inventory account debit to party, raw material inventory account debit to bank, or raw material inventory account debit to cash. All may be possible. As per the statement क्या लिखा at the time of purchase of inventory. Entry is raw material inventory account debit to party. When party? Whenever goods purchased on the basis of credit. If the goods purchase on cash basis, if you make the payment in cash, so cash. If you make the payment through bank, so bank. Next beta. Now at the time of issue of material to the machine on the shop floor. Okay. But we have discussed in the chapter of store accounting. Suppose there is a 3 mess in one of the institution, one of the college, or there is a common store. We have already discussed same example in the class. So whenever mess require the material, so mess send the requisition slip to the storekeeper and storekeeper issue the material. Okay. Now, what type of entry can be passed by the accountant? In that case, now the raw material converted into WIP. So beta entry is WIP inventory account debit or WIP control account debit to raw material inventory account or to raw material control account. Both may be possible. We just use control account, inventory account, nothing. So at the time of issue of material to the machines on shop floor. So entry is WIP account debit to raw material inventory account. और whenever we purchase the material, so entry हमारी क्या थी? Raw material inventory account debit. Third, at the time of conversion of WIP into the finished goods. Okay. So the finished goods account debit to WIP. Whenever purchase the raw material, so raw material to party. Whenever raw material converted in WIP, so WIP to raw material. Or whenever WIP converted into finished goods, so entry is finished good to WIP. Check करो बेटा. So finished goods inventory account debit or finished goods control account debit to WIP inventory or WIP control. Both are same. Clear? Now, at the time of sale of finished goods, so entry is same. We have already passed in so many time. है ना भाई? Simple entry, party account debit, bank account debit, cash account debit to sales. Whenever raw material converted into the goods, so we always we use only purchase and sales. Never we use goods. If the goods is not in the position to sell, well, incomplete goods, so we will use the WIP. Once the goods complete, finished goods, so we always be use but sale not goods. Whenever we purchase the goods, so entry is purchase account debit to party, or whenever you sell the goods, so party account debit to sales. Same entry with a party account debit to sales. Clear? Now at the time of booking of material consumption, again the sales. So material consume account debit to finished goods. This consume we will transfer in the trading account. Now the last component under the current assets. So this is called prepaid expenses. If any of the expenses paid in advance, so this is called prepaid expenses. So prepaid expenses is also the current assets. A prepaid expenses is an assets abetting assigned to expenses. Some expenditure made during one period are not properly recognized as expenses until a subsequent period. So prepaid expenses result from the application of accrual accounting. Prepaid expenses are accounted in the asset side of the balance sheet. Just better go through the prepaid expenses. One of the entries given, so just stick and solve the entry. Now next is the fixed assets. ठीक बेटा. Now what is the features of the fixed assets? Fixed assets are item held for the long-term use by the company. Period is more than 1 year. Companies may have the several fixed assets depending upon the size and type of the operation of the business. fixed assets accounting usually record these items at a historical cost. We have already discussed the historical cost at the time of chapter concept and conventions in the principle of accounting. So what is the principle of accounting regarding the fixed assets? We always record the fixed assets with this value at historical cost. Clear? Matlab, appreciation or the current market value is not relevant to record the fixed assets. Fixed historical cost and depreciation with this value over a set amount of time. Fixed assets item are the property that are tangible in nature. Economic life is longer than 1 year. Maintain their identity for their usual life, either the separate entity as the identifiable component of a larger or the conglomerate of the property. Are not repair parts or supply item or having a significant value. Acquisition cost. We have already discussed in detail. In your study material, very small type of definition is given. Acquisition cost means cost of the assets for obtaining fixed assets and putting it in place and its condition to use. We have already discussed the definition of actual cost. The cost will be recorded in the books of account, representing the value of the assets when it was acquired. And the acquisition cost is generally at a historical cost or as the original cost, but may be based on the different valuation of the certain type of transaction. Now with the two type of fixed assets, number first is tangible or number second is intangible. Tangible assets are those assets which are having physical substance, and it includes a traditional item of the land, building, machinery, vehicle, furniture, computer equipments. Assets accounting usually record these items historical cost and depreciate their value over a set amount of time. As per the GAAP, generally accounting accepted principle. Usually allow the companies to choose depreciation method consist with the type of the asset reported amount several business industry or sector. Okay. Well, you are free to opt the depreciation method. So but definitely you have to use the depreciation method according to similar type of industry. While reporting these fixed assets for tax purpose, the accountant must modify accelerated cost recording system to report the depreciation on annually tax filing. But it's just better. But as per the Income Tax Act, Section 32 of the depreciation, income tax says that depreciation will be charged on tangible as well as the intangible asset. But as per the accounting, the depreciation charge only on tangible assets. In the accounting, you can use any of the method to calculate the depreciation according to the industry. But as per the Income Tax Act, the approved method is only WDB. But for calculating the profit as per the income tax or at the time of filing of income tax return, this is mandatory to charge depreciation using only WDB method, except power generation company. Power generation company use straight line method. Other than all type of company have to use only which method? WDB method. So there is a difference between the accounting as well as the income tax. So asset accounting must keep two separate depreciation schedule when depreciating fixed assets. Whenever we calculate the depreciation, so we have to prepare the two schedule, one schedule for the accounting purpose and another schedule for the income tax purpose. ठीक है बेटा, remaining part we will discuss in next class. So my next class is tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. As beta Wednesday I am busy, so I am unable to take class on Wednesday 4:30. And abhi instead of Wednesday, I am taking class and abhi I will take tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So kindly join tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. instead of Wednesday. And abhi, so we will continue this chapter. Maybe I will finish this chapter and we will solve some of the multiple choice question. ठीक है, it's okay beta. Tejaswini,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
beta,
sir.
all thing is clear.
Yes, sir.
But I forget to download the software in my pen tablet software. I am just busy in 2-3 days. So that's why I didn't use any of the pen today in class. Okay? So I just going to download the software. So next class we will solve 2 or 3 small type of question, because in this chapter no big question is given. Okay? Okay, beta, I have only 2-3 candidate numbers, so I will definitely share the multiple choice question to all. Okay?
Right, sir.
Okay, beta,
Thank you,
bye
sir.
bye. Okay, bye, beta.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, beta, bye bye.